Well, hey fans, welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be basically a video version of an article I just wrote on the website about what should the plot of the third Captain Marvel movie be. So if you're one of those who enjoys reading, I highly recommend you go over to the website. Just read the article. This video will just basically allow me to add a little more of my thoughts that I didn't want to overload the article with. But if you're just one who enjoys watching a video, sit down, listen, walk around, get some chores done, whatever you do while you have your headphones in, and yeah, just enjoy this show. So like I said, this is going to be about what I think the third Captain Marvel movie should be about. And we're going to start with a little bit of history about the Captain Marvel franchise. Marvel really wanted to introduce this character back in, I think, Avengers Age of Ultron. Joss Whedon wanted Captain Marvel to appear as a member of the new Avengers team that appeared at the end of that film that Captain America was training after Iron Man decided to hang it up, which, you know, he never hangs it up. But I think they even have a deleted scene showing like a stand-in there for Captain Marvel. So that was where they originally wanted to introduce the character. They ended up not doing that. Years later, she gets her own movie. It is a prequel set in the 90s, and they released the film in between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Is one of those releases. And I remember watching the movie. I'm not sure if it was an advanced screening or not, but like I was excited for it because I like the character of Captain Marvel from the comics and the cartoons and such. But I remember like sitting there and watching the movie and just thinking, this movie's kind of dull. It's like not really that much going on in terms of story. And so Brie Larson, phenomenal actors. When they said this is who we cast, I was like, oh, Marvel is winning. They just got a great actress. They didn't utilize her well in that movie at all. Like, she's so bland, she barely smiles, and it's just like you wasted Brie Larson's talent. So and I think the husband and wife team who were the directors, I'm not sure if they were husband and wife, but it was a man and woman. They were like relatively unknowns, and it was kind of telling that when they decided to make a sequel, they didn't bring them back. They just said, all right, thank you guys, you made $1 billion movie, but we're gonna move in a different direction. And then for the sequel, they got Nia DaCosta. Love Nia DaCosta. She made the Candyman remake, which that movie was fine. I didn't really care for the way it ended, but she's a very talented director, and I was happy that she got the job. And Brie Larson was going to be able to get a director to bring a little bit more emotion out of her. They were going to tie the movie to Monica Rambeau, who appeared in WandaVision, and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, who had her own show on Disney Plus, and they were going to kind of group them together because there was some kind of backlash to Brie Larson about some comments she made about, you know, white male press reviewing all of these movies about women, and how she's like, this movie isn't aimed towards you. Some people took it to heart, and it kind of got some backlash for her. I get what she was saying. She probably should have said it in a nicer or a different way, but like a lot of people just really started to hate her, which I didn't really get. But basically people didn't really want to see her as a character anymore. But I still think she's a great Captain Marvel. And in terms of the Marvels, I was happy to see her return as a character. Now, the plot of that movie basically has this villain named Dar-Benn opening up portals around the universe to revive the Kree homeworld of Hala using the secondary bangle that Kamala Khan found in her show, which they found in like an old 10 Rings like chamber underground way back when. There's so much stuff left open about that show that I don't think Marvel was really doing a good job of, you know, saying who's doing what. So we have all these like unanswered questions. But the other bangles like across the universe, Dar-Benn gets it, and she starts opening these portals. Long story short, they have to team up, their powers are switching. I've done my review on that movie, and at the end of that movie, Monica Rambeau, who never gets a name, she never gets a name, and I did this whole short about what her name should be. I think on Toys, Monica's name was Photon, which I get it in the comics. Sometimes she's Spectrum, sometimes she's Photon, sometimes she's Captain Marvel. But I'm like, if the movie is The Marvels, and you have Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, personally, she should have been Black Marvel. Black Marvel's a character from the comics. It was a man. It appeared in the, Spider-Man the Animated Series TV show. And I did like this whole little theory time about how, like, we've never seen her dad in the show, and that could have been like her dad's call sign in the military or whatever. But whether it's Photon or not or whatever. So at the end, Monica gets trapped in another universe, and turns out that universe does include the X-Men. We get to see Beast and a variant of her mom who is binary. So that movie, with it not really being that great and Marvel just having a terrible phase, I think it's the lowest grossing Marvel Studios movie ever. It had like a $260 million budget, something to that effect, and I think it only made like 210. I'm not going to sit here and look up the numbers, just know it made less than the Incredible Hulk, and that was when Marvel was just starting out. So basically, we might not get a third Captain Marvel movie because of this, and I think that is a tragic mistake, because it's none of these girls' fault. It's not Nia DaCosta's fault that Marvel did that to her. One, Marvel was at a really bad point when they were about to release that movie, and they should have, also, the strikes were going on, all this stuff. They should have said, you know what, guys, we are going to push this release date to the next year, because it came out in 2023. They should have pushed it to 2024 summer when people are out of school. I'm not saying it would have made $1 billion, but it probably would have made at least $500,000 if it was released right before. Because think about it, at the end of this movie, like I said before, Monica is in a world where there are mutants. The only movie that came out this year from Marvel Studios is Deadpool and Wolverine. They could have shot a scene and had the Marvels lead right into Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, they could have easily done that. You could have said, hey, Ryan, here's a few million. Just do some voiceover. We got a guy in the suit, and this is going to tie you into this movie, even though you're not really in it. And then, bam, that movie makes a lot more money being tied to Deadpool and Wolverine. And I don't know why they just threw Nia DaCosta under the bus like that and just made all these good, like, the actresses are great in the movie. And I digress. I'm getting way past my point. But, like, the three leads are great. The movie's just bad. It's unfortunate all around. We might not get the third movie. But there is a way that Marvel can fix this, because Marvel Studios loves trilogies. Every major hero outside of the Hulk, Hawkeye, and Black Widow has a trilogy of movies. Thor has 4 movies currently, and there's a 4th Captain America movie coming out. And I know Anthony Mackie's not Captain America, is a different character technically, but still counts as that, set of movies. So I think every major hero should be able to complete their trilogy. Doctor Strange is definitely getting a 3rd movie, and their best way to move forward with Captain Marvel is to do the Captain America Civil War situation effect. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, so when Marvel Studios had their big presentation at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, Captain America, the 3rd one at the time was called Captain America Serpent Society, and then they had the whole panel and said, that's not the name, it's actually Captain America Civil War. Now this ties into the event from the comics where there was a superhero civil war, and it basically involved all the heroes. This movie, they pretty much made Captain America the focus, about him trying to save Bucky. They made this deal with Sony. They were able to put Spider-Man in it as Black Panther. So all in all, great movie, great Captain America movie, but in reality, it was an Avengers movie. They could have easily have titled that movie Avengers Civil War, and it would have still made the same sense. So moving forward with the 3rd Captain Marvel movie, you need to take one of those big Avengers-style comic book story arcs and just slap it with a Captain Marvel title. And my personal opinion is that they should adapt Avengers versus X-Men. And the reason for this is because how do the Marvels get back together if Monica Rambeau is trapped in a universe with the X-Men? They're going to have to travel to that universe and get her back. So they have to go to that universe, mainly because there aren't really mutants in the MCU. There are like a few who have been kind of teased, although it doesn't really make total sense. You got Miss Marvel, who has a mutant gene. They just made her a mutant in the comics. You got Namor, Mr. Immortal, who is in She-Hulk, along with El Aguila. I think those are the only mutants that have actually appeared in the MCU, even though I think Namor is the only person who actually calls himself a mutant, but he's also, Taloganian or whatever they call themselves. So there's that, but that would be the best route forward for the story. So in my mind, how I see the story going, you call up as many of those Fox actors as you can get and say, hey, we want you guys to appear in this 3rd Captain Marvel movie. It's a crossover. And by the way, in terms of a title, you have to call it Marvels versus X-Men. You can't call it Avengers, anything. You just swap out Avengers, Marvels vs. X-Men, that still makes it a Captain Marvel movie. But you call up any of those Fox actors, say, hey, we're making this movie, can we get you in it? And whoever says they'll return, you put them in the movie. And I think you go after, the nostalgic names. I think you would definitely need Halle Berry, Famke Janssen, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Elliot Page, Shawn Ashmore, people like that. Anna Paquin, if she would play Rogue, that would be a major addition. As well as Channing Tatum, who was just in Deadpool Wolverine, have him play another variant of Gambit. Basically the same Gambit that appeared in Deadpool Wolverine, but not as silly. And I think that would be good for Channing Tatum, because who knows if he'll ever get his movie? Probably not, but this will allow him to play a major role in another Marvel film as a character Gambit. So basically, how I see this movie going is you would start the scene in the X-Men universe, and you would have a variant of Captain Marvel headed to Earth to warn them about the Phoenix Force. She's attacked by a group of X-Men. I would lead with Storm, Jean Grey, and Binary, just because she appeared in the post-credit scene. Have those three attack her to stop her from warning that universe's version of the Avengers about the Phoenix Force returning, because you can pull over storylines from past X-Men movies. Like in Logan, they had introduced this stuff into the food that made the X gene become suppressed, so mutants weren't being born anymore. And that's part of the storyline in Avengers vs. X-Men, in that the mutant population is decreasing and they think the Phoenix Force can be their savior. So that's how you would add that element into this story. Connect with some of the previous films, but have them fight her in the beginning, and to end that fight, if they can get Anna Paquin back, you have Rogue appear and drain Captain Marvel of all of her powers and puts her in a coma. And that's like your pre-Marvel flip book opening. And when you get to the flip book, you have it be only mutants. Like the mutants that appeared in the MCU, the mutants that appeared in Deadpool, Wolverine, those are the only people you see. Deadpool, Wolverine, Miss Marvel. Mutants and the Marvel's characters. So you would do that, and then you would start the next scene with Captain Marvel waking up from a dream, because they established in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that your dreams are basically you peering into another universe. So she would just have a weird dream, and then have her go on this quest to find Monica Rambeau with the help of Kamala Khan. So you have to tie the trilogy together. And one thing about the Marvels that I didn't care for was that Jude Law's character, I think his name was Jan Rog, and you basically have her contact him. That brings him back from the first movie. They explain where he's been all these years, and basically just make it so that he has been studying Kree history all his life. He's really well educated on the topic, so he knows of a place where they can use Kamala's bangles to travel to another universe. So that ties in his character. Basically, he tells him where the place is, and just have it be some kind of plot point to where, like, the only way you can make this portal work is there would have to be two of you, so you know anybody with your power set. So that would allow her to contact a small cameo from Nick Fury. You get Samuel Jackson back in there, just do like a little video call. He can just do it from his office in the green screen or whatever. And then this how you get to Gaia, who we all know is now the all-powerful Super Skrull that has too many powers, and it's just secret invasion sucks. So we have to tie that in somehow. So basically, we know Gaia was friends with Monica when they were younger. Just tell her, hey, your friend's trapped in this other universe, we need to save her. I know we have our differences. I know I didn't find the Skrull homeworld or whatever, but if you can use your power set to help us get to this other universe. So that allows Gaia to be a part of the team now. They copy their powers, they get to the other universe, and then Jan Rog says something like, hey, we have a time limit. If we do not get Monica and return to our universe within this set time, the universes will fold together. There'll be an incursion. Like, basically, if they do not complete their mission quick enough, there's going to be an incursion. So you got the team, you got Jan Rog, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Super Skrull Gaia go to this X-Men universe to retrieve Monica, bring her home. But while they are there, they get into whatever spat that the X-Men in that universe are having with the Avengers, and that makes it harder for them to get back because they're trying to be helpful at the same time. And of course, I think they should end the movie with them not making it back, and like an incursion occurring, like the universe just tearing apart, and having it set in between Doomsday and Secret Wars easily allow this movie to hit $1 billion. The nostalgia of having all those old Fox X-Men characters back would allow it to hit $1 billion. You would have connection to Deadpool with the fact that Channing Tatum's back at Gambit. And since it's like, an alternate world, for the Avengers, you can put anybody who you want on that team. You can get Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Paul Bettany as Vision, Yelena Belova, Black Widow. However you want that specific Avengers team to look, you can fill it up with any actors you want. You can even get no-name actors because it's an alternate universe. So I'm not too concerned about that as much. But, a sweet idea, if you want to throw in some big cameos, holler at Tom Cruise to play the superior Iron Man as the leader of that universe's Avengers. He wouldn't have to do much, you just put him in the mask most of the time and show his face every now and then. And yeah, it would be great. And like I said, with the X-Men characters, get who you can get back. In terms of like a Wolverine, Hugh Jackman would be great to make a cameo. If not, go with Henry Cavill. Go with Daniel Radcliffe or, what's his name from Kingsman, Taron Egerton. Like, those are the people you can get. And of course, like, if you get Elliot Page, Black Cat will now be Kit Pride because of what he identifies as now. So it'd be different, but kind of the same, and that is okay. And that is basically my plan on how they should make that movie and make $1 billion easily. And it basically will follow the same formula that they used for the first Captain Marvel movie by putting it between two Avengers movies. The fans, if Doomsday is good, fans are going to want to know, like, what happens in the middle before they get to the next Avengers movie. So that is clearly the key to fixing this franchise and ending it well. And then, of course, Brie Larson can be done. She's done 3 films. She has a great trilogy. First one $1 billion, third one $1 billion, and they can say that this franchise is not a failure. But those are just my thoughts. And of course, and like I said, I'm all scatterbrained with this. Of course, you're going to have, Kelsey Grammer voicing Beast like he did in the post-credit scene. You're going to have Marie Rambeau, Binary, as the main character as well, like I mentioned earlier. Like, these are all characters who would be in the movie, and these are all characters who would take part in whatever the big final battle is before the incursion that leads to Battle World, which I'm sure is going to be what, Secret Wars is about. So, who knows what they're going to do. Only Kevin Feige and those higher up at Marvel know. But this is the multiverse saga, and I don't think they should wait until after this saga ends to wrap up Captain Marvel. They should do it with the Marvels vs. X-Men movie. I even made like the nice logo for it, and we'll see. And like for those of you who are listening, for those of you who think this is a great idea, if you made it to the end of this video, please leave your likes and your comments below. Let me know what you think about this idea. Let me know what you think the third Captain Marvel movie should be about. If you think there should be one, maybe some of you are like, no, end it with 2 and that's fine. I mean, Eternals 2 is canceled. They're only getting 1 movie. So yeah, but yeah, I thank you guys for joining me for this word salad I just put out. Remember, you can read the full article on the website, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog, where you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.